Hey everybody, this is Dan Basic Camping with Dan, and today I'm going to show you how to fix if you get a hole in two pieces of gear that is found at the campsites. And the first piece of gear is your rain shell. This is used for wind and also rain. And then the second piece of gear is just your regular tent, which are basically the same materials. So that's why I'm going to show you how to fix them both today. So you're only really going to need 3 items at the minimum. So what you're going to need is to get some Ripstop Nylon. A lot of tent manufacturers put this in their tent bag, but also you can get them at a craft store or online. Make sure that whatever you get has a waterproofing on it. And then the next item is some super glue. You want to not just use some regular super glue, you want to use some flexible glue that whenever you wrap up your tent or your shell, the glue's not going to break. So I use E6000, which is an industrial strength glue, but I've also had great success with seam grip. And then also there's specific Gear Aid brand stuff that is made for this, but this is all I could find at Walmart, but this stuff works really good and I highly recommend it. And then the next thing is you're going to need just some scissors. You're going to use these scissors to cut the nylon that you have. And so yeah, just 3 things, super easy. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so this I have a pretty good slit right here. So I'm going to repair this. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to make sure that this is washed. I just took this out of the laundry. So you want to make sure you get any oils off here, because what's going to happen if you have like skin oils is it might prevent the glue from sticking. So, and the next thing we need to do is we are going to cut a piece of this nylon. I like to cut them in kind of triangle shapes just because they kind of do kind of fit on a little bit better. And then we are going to take this. I got a couple slits on this, but this one's the one that I'm going to worry about. And then I'm going to patch it from the inside. So I'm going to roll the sleeves up a little bit. And one of my favorite things about E6000 is it comes with these very nice applicator tips. Which is nice about this is it makes it so much easier not to make a mess. If you didn't have these applicators, you would make a big old mess. So word of precaution when using glue such as E6000 or seam grip is you want to ensure you're in a well ventilated area. As you can see, I have my garage open. It's a little bit of a windy day, so getting plenty of ventilation. I'd never want to do strong glue like this indoors, nor do you want to do it in a closed garage. So you want to make sure you have plenty of ventilation, preferably outdoors, but if not, a garage with the door open. And if you need, you can wear a mask, and I do recommend gloves. All right, then what I like to do is lay down just like an old towel. And then we're going to go ahead and open this. And then we're going to screw on an applicator. Go ahead and wipe that off a little bit. Just like that. And then you're just going to take this and you're going to just put a nice even coat. And then you're going to use the applicator to kind of move it to the edges. And just take your time. There's no need to rush. This isn't a quick dry super glue. This is actually a it actually takes up to 72 hours to fully cure and dry. So yeah, there's no need to rush. And just keep on moving it. And you don't need to get to the full side, because whenever you push it down, a lot of this is just going to fall out. So then we're going to go ahead and just throw this cap on the tip real quick. That's going to prevent stuff from coming out. And then we're going to take this, and then we are going to push that down. Make sure that it's on there all the way. And if you make a little bit of a mess, it's no big deal. And then we are going to kind of push it down. Just keep on kind of working it a little bit. And you should be wearing gloves. And so I started getting a little glue on my hand. So one thing you want to do is make sure you have gloves on. This stuff's a pain to get off, so make sure you have gloves. So essentially what you want to do is continue to kind of work it so it gets full, just like that. So what you want is all four corners to, you kind of have to work it a little bit as it dries. And it might take a few minutes to fully get that piece where it's fully contacted to the other piece. It might take about 5 minutes or so. So that means that it's fully contacted. And then basically now you're just going to want to wait 24 hours. And with the tent, it's the same thing. If you're repairing the mesh, that is its own tutorial, but if you're replacing the nylon, the solid part of your tent, this is where this tutorial is going to come into play. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the hole right there. It's very small. You might not be able to see it that well, but even that small could have a huge impact on your tent's waterproofing. And so what we are going to do now is we're going to cut a piece from our fabric. That. And I kind of like to make it a little bit of a hexagon. We need to get our gloves on before we start using the glue. And then go ahead and I like to put like a towel down. And then first thing we're going to do is we are just going to go ahead and start applying. So go ahead and set the glue aside. I always make sure the cap's on, just so it doesn't dry up. So the first thing we need to do is go ahead and put this patch down. And essentially what we are going to do is pretty much just keep on padding until, I mean, you might have to pad for 5 to 10 minutes. We just want to make sure that we got a nice bond. So that is the patch so far. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to keep on kind of working it until we have a good dry. See, we're kind of moving that up, making sure that we're fully contacted. So just keep on pressing it down, and before long it'll be nice and sealed. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Basic Camping with Dan. In this episode, I showed you all how to fix a shell jacket and also a tent when you have a small hole. If you like this episode, thumbs up and also subscribe. Thanks so much everybody, and have a great week.